Okay, so we are live, and I got another unboxing for you. This is another one of these that I've been sitting on for weeks and weeks, maybe even months. It's Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, New Eternia Stratos, and that is a mouthful of a title. There's the picture of Stratos. It's on the back. Very nice image. There's another image of him here on the side. So this Stratos looks like it takes influence from a lot of different versions. I see some influence from the 2000X version of Stratos, and I see some influence from the original Mark Taylor design of Stratos, and the one that wound up in those early mini comics, and a lot of other stuff. So this is one I've been looking forward to opening for a while, even though like I said, I just had so much stuff to open. It's actually kind of a blessing in disguise that I'm not going to have a whole lot of extra money for stuff for the next couple of weeks, so I can get caught up on some of this stuff that I haven't gotten around to opening yet. Let's go ahead and read the bio on the back. Stratos, winged warrior. The once majestic mystic mountains now lay scattered in ruined shards across the oceans of Eternia. Stratos reforms Avion as a nest of island outposts, protecting ships from pirates, marauders, and, worst of all, Merman and his sub-oceanic monstrosities. Through hardship and turmoil, Stratos proves to be the most resilient of New Eternia's warriors. And then we got cross-cell artwork on the back. We got Evelyn as the sorceress from Revelation. We got Frosta. We got Roboto, which that's one I'm hoping to be able to find because I don't have the classics version of Roboto. And then Stratos himself. So, and there's some other new tidbits on this version of Stratos. Like he's got an oxygen mask, which I don't know. Like I don't know if that's really necessary, because I kind of figure Stratos being like an evolved bird person, is used to breathing where the oxygen is thin. I don't know. So we've seen the back of this before. We've been over the New Eternia packaging before, which I don't think is bad packaging, but could be a little more exciting. Honestly, I liked it a lot better before I saw the 40th anniversary He-Man packaging, where they took it back to the 80s, and I thought that packaging was just gorgeous, and I kind of think they should do that with all the Masterverse packaging at this point. So let's go ahead and have a look at his accessories, and we've got the Staff of Avion, which this version is noticeably shorter than it usually is. It's less of a staff and more of a scepter, unless maybe, I was hoping maybe it expanded somehow, but it doesn't seem to do that. We've got some extra hands, and these are both two open hands, which would come in useful for flight type poses. You probably want to have the open hands so you can, like Superman or something. And then this oxygen mask, which is a nicely designed oxygen mask, even though, like I said, I don't know if I'm actually going to use it, because I don't know how necessary it really is to my vision of this character. And then we've got jetpack. Everything's better with a jetpack. So, and last but not least, Stratos himself. Let's get him out of here. And oh, he does have some rubber bands on there. I'm sorry, I've just been used to opening all these G.I. Joe classified figures lately, and they don't have rubber bands on them. So what's your excuse, Mattel and McFarlane, for still having rubber bands on your figures like it's the 90s? Oh, I hate these things. And like I said, Hasbro's got me spoiled by not having those on. Of course, Hasbro right now still hasn't gone back to having packaging with windows in it, but the older figures that I've been opening still have. So this one, I'm going to say right off the bat, and this is going to be a controversial opinion, but I haven't even really done anything with this figure, and I already like him better than the Masters of the Universe Classics version. And I'm going to give you two reasons why I feel this way. One is he actually has feet with toes on there instead of those weird sock feet. and yeah, I know Classics was trying to make it look like the original figure, how it had weird sock feet, but it didn't make sense in 1982, and it didn't make sense when Classics did it. So I'm not a fan of that at all. But this one actually gave him toes, so that's good. He should have always had toes. If you weren't going to give him toes, at least give him like red boots, like he had on the Filmation cartoon. And second of all, these wings are actually articulated. So unlike the Classics version, where they were just kind of stuck to the wrists and they just moved wherever the forearm went, you can actually get them to kind of bend around the elbow a little bit, because they are two separate pieces that are held together by little pegs. So there's a hinge there, and it's got a strap that allegedly is supposed to hold it onto the bicep, but it doesn't seem to want to stay on there very well. But since the whole thing's on this hinge system, it's not like, you risk the chance of it falling off. It's still going to stay pretty much in place. So, like I mentioned before, this version of Stratos has some elements of the mini comic / original Mark Taylor design of Stratos, because he's got this feathery collar, which did not make it to the final toy. But those of us who read the original mini comics remember him having that feathered comic in the earliest ones of those. And if you've ever seen Mark Taylor's original designs, he had those. Likewise, this belt, which attaches to his harness. So, and the great thing about all of this stuff is, he didn't have the harness when he had the feathered collar in the comics. It was just the feathered collar. And I think you should be able to remove the belt and the feathered collar and just be able to have kind of a toy style Stratos. And you can always put the feathered collar back on without the harness, but unfortunately, it looks to me as if the belt, it has to attach to the harness. So I don't think you can have the belt without the harness. At least I don't see how you could. Then we have this backpack, and it looks like there's some kind of slots and pegs, slots on here and pegs on here that are supposed to all kind of lock together. So let's see if we can get that to work. So we put that in there and push it down a little bit, and voila, there we go. And it looks like there's some pegs on here, so you can attach this belt to the backpack. But I don't think that you can. I don't think that you can have the backpack without actually putting it through those pegs in the harness. So yeah, I don't think there's a way to have this this belt on just by itself. Now, if you just really wanted to, I suppose what you could do is, if you just wanted to have like as much of a mini comic style Stratos as possible, and some enterprising customizer will think of this, is just kind of glue it. We could probably glue it straight onto the belt that's actually on the loincloth. And that's where some of the 2000X influence comes from that I was talking about. Because the 2000X version of Stratos had this kind of feathery loincloth, like this one that we see here. So that's kind of neat. It's kind of nifty, I think, that they took a lot of influences from a lot of different versions of Stratos and threw them together onto this version. So let's see, I can peg the harness back on, and hopefully that should stay on without the belt, because the belt, the loops for the belt kind of fit in between the pegs and the holes there, but it still seems to fit on him fairly snugly without it. So if you want like just a straight up version of Stratos that's as close to the toy as you can get it, this is it. This is the toy version of Stratos. Other than he has a feathery loincloth, which takes us back to 2000X. But I think it looks pretty cool like this. But of course, as I have well established, I am like a huge fan of the mini comics, and I'm always going to be a sucker for mini comics versions of the character. Now, the original Stratos didn't come with any sort of weapon. He just had his wings and his jetpack, and that was it. I guess he had enough accessories to take up his accessory budget. But this one does come with an accessory, which is, like I said, the Staff of Avion, which is more like the Scepter of Avion. But whatever, it's something. So that's pretty cool. I do wish that they'd have made it a little longer and made it more of a proper staff, but you know, it's pretty cool for what it is. It's nice that he has anything. And let's go ahead and put the oxygen mask on him just so we can get a good look at it, how it looks on there. So there we go. That's what he looks like with the oxygen mask on. And if I still had the belt on there, it's got a little hose that would plug into the belt. So I think I will go ahead and put the belt back on here while I'm thinking about it. But that means I got to take this whole thing apart again. But it is a cool kind of system they have here, where you could get lots of different looks out of Stratos, and you know, pretty much put together whatever kind of Stratos you want to. I would imagine, even if one were so inclined, if you wanted to go with the Filmation look of the character, and you just really wanted him to have some red boots, you could probably swap out the lower legs with lower legs from another figure, and then you could have those. All right, so I'm going to take the oxygen mask off. The head sculpt is good. It's pretty much what you would expect Stratos to look like in this format. It does look very similar to the vintage figure, but it's obviously not exactly the vintage figure. But if you really want a vintage-looking head, like a really, truly vintage-looking head to go on this guy, it would not be too hard to get a Masters of the Universe Origins Stratos and swap the head on there, because the heads from Masterverse and Origins are interchangeable. So if you want something that's a little more toy accurate, you can do that. But I think this one is toy accurate enough. It definitely looks enough like the vintage version to me. You can tell that this fin here kind of swoops upwards. Excuse me, I got a little tickle in my throat. So that's an interesting look. It does make it look slightly more Flash Gordon. And I always felt like he was one of the more Flash Gordon influenced of the original figures. So what I think I'm going to do before I put this jetpack back on is I'm going to try to put the belt straight onto the jetpack, and we'll see how that looks. And I might just wind up leaving it like that, because I figure that'd be an easier way to you know, take off or put back on this belt, rather than having to mess with the harness the whole time. That's probably what they were thinking of when they did this in the first place. And it does fit on there, I think, a little more loosely, but it still fits. So, and if one wanted to put the oxygen mask on there, then that's all the accessories. So, so yeah, this guy definitely gets a recommend for me, especially if you don't already have the Classics version and you just want a Stratos in this scale to go with your figures. But like I said, I think I like him better than the Classics version of Stratos. And like, it's nice that Mattel can make a figure that actually does top something that they've done previously. So that's a good thing. Now, I know a lot of people that might watch this, you know, that have some loyalty to Classics. And make no mistake, I still consider Classics to be the greatest He-Man action figure line of all. But it's nice for me to think that there might be a chance that Masterverse might overtake it, or at the very least might actually manage to be on a par with Classics. I don't want Mattel to rest on their laurels. You know, like there's been some really great figures in this line, particularly the new Eternia stuff. I haven't had a new Eternia yet that I've been disappointed with. I still need to get Zodak. I haven't had a chance to get Zodak yet. And you know Zodak's one of my favorites, so I gotta have Zodak. But yeah, I've been really happy with this line so far, and this is kind of what I would want out of a He-Man line. Like you know, you can have your homage to the vintage stuff and get a lot of cool vintage stuff in there, but still kind of try to take it to the next level a little bit and kind of push it a little further. So, like I said, this guy's got a lot of love for the stuff that came before. There's a lot of love for, you know, the original figure, and a lot of love for how he appeared in the mini comics, for Mark Taylor's original design, even for the 2000X line that's made its way onto this figure. So yeah, this is definitely a recommend. Like I would say go ahead and buy this, even if you already have the classics version of Stratos. You won't regret getting this one. If nothing else, even if you still look at it and you're like, I still like the classics version's best. You can take some of the accessories and put them on that version and kind of mix and match and play around with it. So, but that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. If you want to know when these videos go live, hit that little bell icon. There's a little gray bell over here. I think that's where it is on my app. Go ahead and hit that, and that'll warn you when I'm going to go live. And you can participate in the chat if you want while I'm going live. I don't really do these for that purpose, but I never mind interacting with the viewers, and in fact, I enjoy it. So feel free to do that, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.